Ow. What's up, everyone? Punchy back with Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 2, Ch.2. And we are about to burst in, not burst in, we're about to go talk to Mion, convince herself to turn herself in, and we got Oishi-san and the rest of the police waiting around the premises in case something happens. However, this sounds too good of a plan. Weird to see Brenna on our side this entire time. She's like more of like she's more of our conscience, I guess. In chapter 2, which is really weird if it continues going this way. But we'll see. Rena took the lead and began to walk down the road I've never been. Rena, you've been to Mion's house before, right? Yeah, a few times. It's a really big house. You could fit a mountain in their backyard too. You can pick mushrooms and stuff, though there are fences everywhere. Big enough to fit a mountain. That was amazing. One of the 3 families controlling Hinamizawa, and the head of the family of the Sonozaki clan. Perhaps there was something to be said about its magnitude. Ooh, new roads. New backgrounds. The path continued onward, level and uneventful. There were metal fences along its edges, and beyond them were woods with trees growing thickly. The fences were high. The tops of them bent inwards, sticking out like sharp spears. Plus, there were dangerous-looking barbed wire. There was dangerous-looking barbed wire wrapping them. No one could look at them and not feel intimidated. In addition, there were signboards hung up here and there along the fence. Private property of the Sonozaki family. Entrance forbidden. Beware of venomous snakes. Active security cameras. Intruders will be charged an entry fee of 1 million yen. This forest, or should I say mountain, is this all their yard? It's more like their domain. As you can see, it's private property, but nobody maintains it. The forest isn't really that kind you can go hiking in. She could say that again. It really did feel like a neglected savage woodland. It was dark and damp, looks bright and nice to me. And certainly not a forest that made you want to go for a nice walk. Maybe that's just what happens when a landowner has too much land. Like Oishi-san said, there were security cameras hung up all over the place. Though, they had been weathered by wind and rain, casting doubt as to whether they were even functional. I wonder if Mion is watching us as we come to her. I don't think she is. The only people living in Michan's house are generally her and her grandma, after all. There's nobody to watch the cameras. What a useless security system. Well, Michan's father seems like a pretty tough person to get along with. So whenever everyone in the family is getting together, the cameras are working properly. That's right. Mion's father. He was a big shot yakuza, wasn't he? Mirna smoothly danced around the answer as she explained. At last, a huge gate as big as I'd imagined appeared. Was she living by herself with her grandmother in a house with such a grand gateway? I wonder if she's here. Beep. The old buzzer made a dull sound. Was it cut off in the middle and not getting into the house? We waited long enough, without a response from me to start thinking like that. However, we finally heard footsteps walking through gravel on the other side of the gate. I nervously balled my hands, my palms now sweating into fists. There was a clang of a bolt being released, and the gate opened slightly. The person peeking out of the gap was none other than Mion. Okay, I'm back in case she's like making a creepy face. I'm backing up. Oh, thank God. Well, this is unusual. Aren't you 2 going to school? Mion didn't seem all that surprised at visitors arriving in the morning, which wasn't a normal time. In fact, she almost seemed relaxed, as if she knew we were coming beforehand. We stayed home today. Punchy-chan is one thing, but you two, Rena? You two are such troublemakers. Mion smiled lightly, in the way that Mion we knew always did. Well, let's not just stand here. Come on in. She gestured for us to follow her. I hesitated for a moment, looking at Rena. Let's go. Rena smiled cheerfully, as if she were passing through the gate of a good friend's house, and then just did that. I rallied myself, and then go through the gate too. Where do they have this one-way mic coming from, by the way? On the other side, it hadn't been maintained very well, but it was clear that the lot was magnificently wide. It wasn't quite what you think when you hear mansion, but it was clearly a vast place. Was this the first time you've been here, Punchy-chan? Yeah. This house is enormous. Steep thatched roofs aren't in fashion anymore. This place could be a tourist attraction. I want to rebuild it using totally average and boring reinforced concrete soon. Mion dryly smiled as she said that, then closed the gate and relocked the heavy bolt. Don't worry about it. Things have been dangerous lately. Gotta do at least this much during the daytime. Yeah, you're right. Maybe it was my imagination, but I thought I saw a hint of a shadow in her smile. Well then, good sir and madam, I shall show you inside. Please come this way. Mion bowed to us like a worker at a high-class hotel, then pivoted on her heel and began to walk. Rena gripped my stiffening arm lightly. Punchy, you're too tense. We came to see Michan, remember? You don't need to be that nervous. That's right. When I get nervous, I tend to let everything show on my face. I'll stop tensing up. Even if something were to happen, there were two of us. Oishi-san's subordinates were waiting outside the gates for us, too. There was nothing to worry about. After thinking about it that much, I realized my nervousness was already gone and laughed at myself. I don't know if I'm ready for this. What's this? Mion, what's with the stone on top of the newspaper? It's in the way. There were a pile of newspapers on the floor of the entrance, and there was a large rock on top of them. I didn't understand why something like that was here. Rena noticed me looking at it questioningly and giggled. Rena, do you know? What is this? Some kind of good luck charm? Ahahaha. If you don't really know, then feel free to move it out of the way and put your shoes there. Ahahaha. Punchy-kun, there's a nest of swallows right above that stone. Huh? Oh, you're right. This house is for people, but swallows still come in without permission and make nests. It must be like a tradition for them. Whenever spring comes, they always make a nest here. It's kind of annoying though. In other words, it's designed to not take off your shoes here, because swallow poop can end up in them. I couldn't help but laugh at the silly contrivance. My laughter naturally sped to the other two. A really long time ago, the Sonozaki family apparently cultivated silkworms. Our ancestors... Jeez, this happens when I do most recordings. I just get really tongue-tied in the later videos. Our ancestors would get all worked up all over exterminating the swallows. When you think of it that way, maybe this is our just desserts. Anyway, come on in. The inside of the house wasn't very bright at all. It was dimly lit. In fact, but mysteriously, I could still feel an elegance to the place. Mion seemed to want a more modern building, but traditional houses like this aren't bad either. You're kidding, right? There's a terrible draft and the winters are freezing. Don't go making my house into a property of a cultural significance and getting in the way of renovations, got it? What I am what I want most is a house like yours, Punchy-chan. I'm pretty jealous of it. It seems like it would have been warm in the winter. Oh, but snowfall seems like it would be a problem. Snowfall's a problem? Does Higurashi get that much snow? Our latitude is south of Kanto, isn't it? Isn't this region warm? Ahahaha, you don't know, Punchy-kun? Higurashi is an area that gets heavy snowfall. When we get a lot, everyone gets buried. Sometimes you can't even get out of your house. Sometimes your car gets totally buried too, and you can't find where it is. I wasn't aware of that. Higurashi was that bad of a place in the winter? Come to think of it, my dad. He said something like, this place gets plenty of snow, so we could have fun building igloos. Still, your front door getting buried? Not being able to find your car? What was that, like winter? It was a couple of years, it was a few years back. Like, well, it was like that freezing. They keep saying, they had a word for it, I can't think of it. But that was annoying, and I only live in Chicago. I can't imagine living somewhere like Canada, Minnesota. That's way too much snow. You remember from geography class, right? The western side of Japan gets cold winds from Asia. We're different from those softies protected by the mountains, nice and warm by the Pacific Ocean. I'm totally okay with being a softie and nice and warm. I hate the cold. We'll have to have a training camp to get Punchy-chan used to the cold this winter then. No way, no way. There's no way that's happening. I hate the cold, and I hate training camps too. I hate them even more put together. Mion laughed uproariously than she ever have, and then told us she'd bring out some tea and left her seat for the moment. Still, there's a lot of fun things to do in the winter. I bet our club would be a blast then. Our club continuing activities through the winter sounds totally horrible. Like swimming in the cold or marching in the snow. When did we turn into Mount Redhorn? Yeah, there are definitely a lot of tough punishment games for the winter season. One time she made us have a Rio carnival in the schoolyard while snow was falling. I see the terror of our club cared not for this season. The victor would be decided by who would best adapt to the winter-only events. We do snowball fights and shaved ice eating contests, and treasure hunts in the snow. Wait, why is everything outside? Why can't we play tabletop games like in a nice warm room while it's snowing? Whoa, Punchy-kun, you're saying things like that, then you're gonna lose a lot this winter. We have lots of punishment games, and Ren won't lose. How? Don't give me that how. I settled things with a cross chop on the head. You're sure having fun. Our walls aren't very thick, so be careful not to go flying through any, okay? Foreshadowing? The paper sliding door opened with Mion returning with a pot and a complete tea set. Do you want sesame seeds in your rice? Sorry, we don't have much in the way of bean paste or other good stuff. It's okay, it's okay. We didn't really come here to drink tea anyway. Woo! We get into it, and with those words, a smile disappeared from Rena's face. Ah, she did it. That one careless statement reminded us of what we had nearly been able to forget. I wanted to be able to enjoy this peaceful time for a little longer, but we put an end to that with those honestly careless words. When she noticed the smile disappeared from Rena's expression, Mion too changed hers. It was as if the cheerful air that was like a warm spring day until a moment ago had slipped through the cracks in the paper door and altogether disappeared. There was no point in regretting it now. We did not come here today to chat and enjoy ourselves. Okay, backing up. Mion silently poured the tea. During that time, both Rena and I sat kneeling without uttering a word. Here you are. Drink up. Couldn't even murmur a word of acknowledgement at those natural words of courtesy. There's no poison in it or anything. Do you distrust me that much? That's upsetting. Mion gave a bitter smile at that and let her shoulders droop. Hmm. 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 We all remain silent. You can't see. You can't see, but I'm arm's length away from the computer, pressing the enter. We remained silently, hoping that someone else would speak up first. That was, however, the one thing we didn't want to do, and so we sat for a long time. At last, Mion smiled scornfully and opened her mouth to speak. Hey now, Punchy-chan, Rena. You're the guests. Did you come here for something? If you don't speak up first, this old man won't know what to do. Rena and I exchanged glances. We both resigned ourselves. Rena opened her mouth to speak first, so I stopped her. Punchy-kun, it's okay. I needed to come here. Let me talk first. Okay, I understand. What would Punchy-chan have to tell me? Please give me your daughter's hand in marriage, maybe. Can't do that. My little Rena and Punchy-chan are meant for each other. Go wash your face with miso soup and try again later. Afterwards, I thought her mean remarks were Mion's own way of showing consideration. Mion had said those mean things in a totally normal voice, and it drained the tension from my shoulders. Mion, first, I have something to apologize for. You do? What for? Mion pretended that she didn't know what I was talking about, but I had clearly gotten my point across. Well, on the night of the Watsunegashi, the ritual storehouse behind the shrine, I went in there. I could see Mion's expression immediately becoming harder. I knew it was somewhere I wasn't supposed to go, but it was just supposed to be a little bit of exploration. We didn't mean anything by it. Even so, I still shouldn't have done it. So I apologize. I'm sorry. To display my deepest sincerity, I pressed my forehead to the table. I'd meant it as a way of prostrating myself. I figured I wouldn't feel sincere enough if I raised my head right away, so I left it there on the table for a while. Mion didn't say anything. With my face on, I couldn't tell what sort of expression Mion had. Only the voices of the cicadas filled the room. Mixed with them, I could hear the sound of the clock ticking. That was all. When I started to struggle to breathe from having my head down for so long, Mion told me to stop. You got me there. I didn't expect you to pitch it to me straight. You've got me on the ropes. I looked up to see Mion's face was calm, but she was smiling faintly. If you understand that even though it was only a casual exploration for you, Punchy-chan, that there are a lot of people who think it's no laughing matter, then it's okay. There's an old saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. It's been days since then. It may be too late, but I apologize. What I did was wrong. Please forgive me. I could feel pitiful tears welling up within me. If I had done this sooner, maybe nothing terrible would have happened. It's okay. If you know what you did was bad, then that's enough, right? Mion spoke like it was someone else's problem, and I wasn't happy about it. B-chan, Punchy-kun is apologizing seriously. I think maybe you should respond seriously as well. I am being serious, though. Do I not look serious to you, Rena? You don't. Rena's giving her tit for tat, and so the room's atmosphere quickly began to grow sharper. She was right. Even though I can't really speak from the heart like this, I feel like she had been taking this seriously. Obviously, Reno isn't fond of that. Punchy-kun, you can get up now. Let's tell her everything. That looks like what Mi-chan wants too. I had known it would turn out like this from the beginning. Hadn't I come here prepared for that? I mustered my willpower and bit my lip. Mion, you called Rika-chan Satoko the day before last, right? I don't remember doing so. If you have a reason to think so, could you let me hear it? It was evening, before dinner time. Rika-chan should have come here, bring a big bottle of soy sauce, to have you share some with her. Mion was trying to keep her from showing any reaction, but I didn't miss her eyelid twitching just a little bit. Why did you think that? It's not hard to understand. Mi-chan, you saw it too, didn't you? Rika-chan's room? Mion put a finger to her forehead, acting like she was thinking. There was chilled tofu, but no soy sauce. Plus, the big bottle of soy sauce that should have been under the sink was nowhere to be found. What? Is that why she would have come here? Mion, drop the act. You wrote yourself the notice, didn't you? That you'd share your soy sauce? Mion scratched her head. I heard her ever so faintly click her tongue. It was as though we found out she'd purposely given too little change to a servant. That's all I could feel from her. Then Mi-chan, Rika-chan, what's that supposed to be? You hit her. Rena hesitated for a moment. Oh, maybe it was like, I could tell that she didn't want to use the word erased. Oh, okay. And that she was struggling to find another word. That was really supposed to be the end, wasn't it? For you, anyway. What are you talking about? You didn't foresee that Rika-chan would tell Satoko-chan that she was going to your house, did you, Mi-chan? Then Satoko-chan called. Might Rika be imposing on you? Yeah, probably just like that. You sound just like her. Mi-chan, you were in a bit of a bind then, because someone knew that Rika-chan had come here. So you decided to lure Satoko-chan here too. Lure her out? Like how, I wonder? Mion prodded Rena on, as if trying to get to the good part of an interesting story. I, however, knew. I'd been watching Mion change the whole time. She was restlessly twirling her fingers. She had clearly lost her calm. Of course, it was really a slight thing, and only I, who'd been watching her this whole time, would have known. Mion was panicking. What Rena was saying must have been a bullseye. It probably went like this. Satoko, I actually made too much dinner, so why not come over and eat? Rika-chan came earlier and already ate some. Something like that. Scratch. Mion's nails dug into her knee. Heh. There's no recordings of a phone conversation or anything, so how do you know that much? I know it because the dinner that Satoko-chan made for the two of them was plastic wrapped in their refrigerator and hadn't been touched. For a few moments, Mion's face was frozen in utter amazement. That's her. Rena Holmes. Man, that's such a bad name that I gave. She looked like she couldn't believe that this person in front of her was Rena. With just that to go on, how did you even guess what we said over the phone? It's a long explanation, so I'll get to the point. The contents of the refrigerator provided a vivid account of what you said over the phone when you lured her out. Mion's jaw remained on the floor. It was the only way I could describe her face. Oh. Backing up. Everyone else back up. I had no idea I had such an incredible detective right next to me the whole time. I can't believe he figured out everything down to the phone conversation just from what's inside the fridge. You got me there. You've got me. Oh god, she's doing her laughing. She was laughing like crazy when it showed that picture of her. Oh ho ho. Okay. I'm too fucking nervous now. As if a dam had burst, Mion convulsed into laughter. Her laughter, though, definitely didn't make us want to laugh as well. Ha 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 ha. Mion grew tired of her dumb laughter, heaved a big sigh, and scratched her head. It almost seemed like Mion had lost a detective punishment game for the club or something, and her punishment had been decided. Oh, how fun that would have been if it were true. An incredible detective. Mi-chan, you're the only one who guessed what Oishi-san told us. He called me an incredible detective too. As soon as she heard Oishi-san's name, Mion's eyes began to display panic more clearly so that anyone would be able to tell. Mion, the police have suspected you for a long time now. Oishi-san's officers have had the house under observation so they could break in at any time. Mion attempted to feign calm, but it looked like she was having a hard time with that. Part of her couldn't believe that the police had her surrounded, and she closely examined Rena's facial expression. However, she couldn't detect a hint of falsehood. Finally, Mion seemed to accept the fact that the police were encircling the house. Was the mayor Mi-chan too? Were Tomitake-san and Takano-san you as well? Mion didn't answer our rapid-fire questions. I could clearly see impatience in her eyes, which were still feigning calm. At last, changing music. At last, Mion, who had been sitting here lazily, readjusted her cushion and sat herself upright. And that's where we're going to stop it today. Well, I say today, I'd be hoping to upload this in the next one together because I don't want to leave anyone off like that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Things are there. I keep things like, oh, things are getting up. Things are there right now. It's starting right now. Oh, man. I'm glad we're here. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Can't wait for this. Bye-bye.